Hey everyone, welcome to The Culture Show. Hannah here from Purpose Jobs, the largest community of purpose-driven professionals. We are so passionate about helping folks find meaning in their work. That's why we decided to go behind the scenes with awesome startup and tech companies to really dig into their culture and what it's like to work on their team. We're so excited to share those discoveries with you and know you'll find some good nuggets along the way. Thanks so much for tuning in, and let's get started. Hey folks, thanks so much for tuning in with us. Today I'm thrilled to be chatting with Julia from RocketReach, who is just a delightful human. You're going to love her. She is the Senior Vice President of Operations for the team, and she's really excited to share more about RocketReach's culture today. Julia, can I kick things over to you first and just have you share a little bit more about yourself and what RocketReach does?
Yeah. I'm Julia. I run ops here, as you said, and I've been with the company between 3.5 and 4 years. And really, the HR team, the recruiting team, and some of IT rolls up to me, and so I get to solve a really diverse set of problems here, which is really fun. And RocketReach we are a contact data platform and software, and we really provide accurate contact data for salespeople, for recruiters, for marketers, and a whole other bunch of use cases that really allow people to get in touch with the right people.
I love that. Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. Can you
Yeah.
share a little bit more about how big the company is when it comes to team? Where do folks work from? A little bit more about that would be super helpful.
Yeah. We are right now we're I think close to 90 employees. And we've been around that size, give or take, for the last couple of years. We scaled from really small about 4 years ago, and we're really all over the place. Our founders really started things on the West Coast, where they were located, and really even prior to COVID, we had a pretty diverse set of states and cities people lived in, and we just continue to kind of grow from there across 17 different states in the US. So we are really remote first. We do have a kind of chunk of people in the New York area, and so we've here and there brought people into office space to come together. But really, we have to kind of operate with a remote first mindset no matter what. And so that's how we kind of approach culture here.
Cool. I love that. Thanks so much for sharing. You mentioned offices in New York for folks who want to use it. Are there physical offices anywhere else for the folks who do like that in-person interaction?
So we don't have physical offices, like regular offices in other cities. We provide, a handful of people that want to go into office space. We provide the ability to get a WeWork and have office space to go into if you want to get out of your home. And we've had people, if they're in the same city, kind of get together and do that a little bit here and there as well. So we try and offer that if people are most productive in another space.
Love that. Awesome to hear. Great. So you shared a little bit about what RocketReach does. Can you share a little bit more about like the founding story or why this is really important? How this makes RocketReach purpose-driven, mission, vision, that type of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, our founders are two software engineers, and they really saw a huge opportunity in the contact data space back in 2014, 2015, when there were very few players that were in this space, and millions of salespeople, recruiters, marketers really didn't have great data to get in touch with the right people. And I think they really wanted to be the best solution with the best quality contact data and make an impact on that huge kind of number of people across the world that rely on this to do their job well. And so I think they've really, we brought that to life. That has largely been accomplished. There are, over 21 million people that use RocketReach on a regular basis. And so it really is impacting a lot of people. And I think we actually do that in a way that,
I love to hear that.
we really often put integrity first as well. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for sharing, Julia. I appreciate that. Awesome. So next, I'm wondering if you can take a moment to describe RocketReach's culture. What are some of the most significant elements about what it's like to work there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that describe culture at RocketReach. I think the couple things that really stand out to me, I think every tech startup wants to be collaborative, but I think we really are very, very collaborative and very trusting.
Hmm.
We really welcome everyone to take a seat at the table when it comes to ideas around the product and the business when we're making decisions. And so, no matter what role you're in here, you really do have a huge say and you're actually being heard and often your ideas are being implemented. And I think that what it's created is a very transparent, very communicative environment where
Hmm.
everyone really is part of the problem solving process together and kind of respects each other's ideas.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. Um, Perfect. So we talked a little bit about the culture, that kind of environment that's created. I think those tangible benefits can also be really exciting for potential folks to join the team and also part of the culture. What are
Yeah.
some of your favorite company benefits or perks?
Yeah, we have a handful. I think the two that I've seen people really value over time, especially being in a smaller startup. I think oftentimes when people go to big tech or other kind of larger environments, they get the things that are sort of standard there, like 401k matching and some of the stuff that is real money in your pocket for your life. And
Mm-hmm.
we have a really, really strong 401k matching program here that we start very, very early when someone starts with the company. And I think that, there wasn't one person here that doesn't take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And I know it's highly valued. We also have a professional development stipend. It's over $1,000 that you really get to use towards anything that is really considered continuing education. And I see people use that on really interesting stuff, whether it's coaching, whether it's like boot camps or classes, and we're pretty open-minded about what we let people do in terms of
Hmm.
sort of continuing to educate themselves. And so it can be hobbies and things that are not necessarily
Yeah.
directly related to their role. So people really also love that, and it's great to see people take advantage of that.
Love that. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Next up, and I think, knowing that Rocket Reach is really remote first, I think your team is probably on this, but talk to us a little bit more about some of the ways that leadership across the company really help promote that healthy work-life balance and flexibility where needed.
Yeah. I think it's a really hard thing to manage. I think a lot of companies have a tough time figuring out what the
Hmm.
balance is here. I think that we work really hard, and as a leadership team, I think that the example we set, we all work really, really hard, and we also take PTO and spend time with our
Hmm.
families. And I think we set an example that your personal life is always more important than work. And a lot of companies, I think, are very scared to say that and acknowledge that with their team
Hmm.
members. But it's obvious, it's true, and it's true for all of
Yeah.
us. And I think there's a really professional line in the sand there that's appropriate. And if people are working hard and hitting their goals, um, we want them to take PTO, and we expect them to take an appropriate amount of PTO. And there's a lot of trust we have in our team, and we want to
Hmm.
give people the freedom to structure that in a way that feels good for
Hmm.
them. And I think for the most part, we haven't that transparency, and I think being open with people about it has been really successful for us. We don't run into problems where we're feel like we're policing or having to manage
Hmm.
that being approached the wrong way by our team members. And if it is, it's usually really understandable. But I think as a leadership team, we try and set the example that if you're working really hard, you should take time, and that's something we want to encourage.
I love that. Great. Um, okay. Next here, what would you just have to say about your time at Rocket Rouge to date? Why do you stay? Something I always really love to ask folks is as someone's considering joining a team. So yeah, tell us why you stay.
Yeah. I get asked this a lot in interviews, and I know it's a classic kind of interview question that people want to know. And I think I think it's genuine too. You want to understand why people
Hmm.
like where they are. I genuinely really like solving the problems that I'm solving.
Hmm.
They are constantly changing and challenging, and I also really like the people I'm solving them with. I feel really lucky that I don't get the Sunday scaries, and I like jumping into work most mornings. And so I know that that is not something everyone feels. I
Yeah.
really like who I work with and the team we've created here. Uh, that it's also really motivating to see us improve and get better every year and know that we're doing good work together. And so it's been, watching us really actually progress and do better, and improve, has also been really motivating. I think kept a lot of us here over the years.
I love that. No Sunday scaries and being excited for Mondays.
Yeah.
That I think makes a world of difference in your happiness in life.
Yes.
So that's great to hear. Okay, last question for you. Just would love for you to share any final thoughts on what a potential candidate has to look forward to in joining the Rocket team. If you have any advice for them, anything you didn't get to touch on, feel free to hit on now.
Yeah. I mean, I think you get to look forward to working with really good people. You also get to look forward to, or should know, that I think joining an environment like ours, and ours specifically, is there's a ton of ownership that's kind of put in the hands of each of our employees here. We really expect them to think for themselves and problem solve for themselves and bring their ideas to the table and feel empowered to make decisions. And I think for the right people, that feels really, really good. For some people, that doesn't. It feels really scary. And so I think knowing that that's an environment, this is an environment where you're going to be kind of given the road, and we expect you to kind of jump in and drive and lean on us when you don't know which direction to go. I think is if you're someone that thrives in that type of environment, this is a really good place for you.
I love that. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Julia. We really appreciate your time. I'll be sure to link to RocketReach's careers page, and different resources like that for folks to be able to learn a little bit more. But otherwise, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.